amanecer, la miel en tus labios, pura vida, puro roce, sudor que arde, penetra en mi sangre, respiro un momento, tu voz y tu aliento, olor, perfume y sangre, canela, ron.
What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to Colada Time, episode number 12. Man, I ain't got a hat on. I need a hat. Hold on, let me get my hat. Yes, now we're talking. It's Colada Time, episode number 12. If you guys have been tuning in, thank you guys. If this is your first time watching the show, welcome to Colada Time. We are a family-oriented show. What I mean is I'm trying to make you feel like you're part of something. For all of those who are watching, I hope you feel and you've gotten that emotion that you're part of something, right? We are a family and we're watching this grow together. I hope I make you feel great when you watch this show and you anticipate it just as much as I do. So if that's you, thank you so much. This is your first time. I hope you become part of this family. I don't know what's wrong with these people. They crazy enough to just follow me and see the crazy dumb stuff I do. You know what I always do? Snapchat, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. Feel free to follow me on any platform at CbasTheVoice. All these episodes are recorded at 5 o'clock Wednesdays, Facebook Live, but I do stream them onto YouTube Thursdays. So this will be uploaded onto YouTube. Again, youtube.com/CbasTheVoice. Just like up here. We got them up here. We got a short show today. Not really, sort of. We always say it's short, then it always ends up being the same. Mr. Red's doing some cool stuff aside from the skit. I'm going to get you guys into that. Cinco de Mayo is coming up, so Cinco de Drinko. I got a spot for you guys to check out. A few spots, so stay tuned for that. I got you guys always a quote of the day. There's a cool new Netflix show that we're going to be talking about. And a couple of topics that I've never talked about on this show. Or I don't even think I spoke more than a few minutes about it. So it's going to go into depth. A little science and a little politics. Stay tuned for that. As always, I'd like to thank you guys for tuning in, for spreading the word, for doing everything you do to make this show be as great as it is. This show would be nothing without you guys. I want you to understand that from jump. You guys are awesome. I can't thank you enough through all the social media platforms, everything you guys do. Word of mouth. If you're going to share this on Facebook, like, I'll give you a second to just share it right now. If you're watching on Facebook Live, there's like a share button somewhere in the bottom. If you want, just hit that. I'll give you a little brief second for that. And if not, guys, if you're going to carry on the conversation with somebody else and just tell them what you heard or things like that, then by all means, thank you so much. It goes without saying. Thank you so much. And we're going to kick things off right away, man. We're going to go right into it. If you ever heard of me speak, in the beginning, the first couple of episodes I spoke about a poet named J. David R.R., a local Miami poet, well known. He is also the mastermind behind TheMiamiInsider.com, where we've talked about local places to grab a bite, local places to grab a drink, and local places to just go out and see the city. He is actually going to perform some of his poetry tomorrow night at Open Stage. I think it's an Open Stage Club, 2325 Galeno Street in Coral Gables. I saw him perform there a few months back, and it was a great venue to begin with. But what was even better was just the vibe. You know, the vibe you get from the place, everything there. It's $10, if I'm not mistaken, at the door. It's all going to a charity. Not all of it, but I know it deals with a charity event there as well. But the best part is it's open. It's an open mic, so there's going to be different, not necessarily open mic to individuals just signing up, but there's going to be a variety of talents there. So you're going to have some poets, you're going to have some comedians, and you're going to have some musicians. So if you have nothing to do tomorrow night, grab your date, grab your booth, and hit them up. Tell them, hey man, you know, I know this nice little spot. Have yourself some drinks and just vibe out, have a good time. I definitely had a great time the first time I went. And I was definitely touched by the words of J. David R.R. He has a way with words, and many other poets that went that night. And the comedian was hilarious. So I'm sure you're going to have a great time going out there. Check it out. Again, I'll be giving you guys the information. TheMiamiInsider.com and J. David R.R. at Instagram. I'll be linking that up soon. Go support. Next topic is Mr. Red. As you know, Mr. Red, myself, and 5 other individuals will be working on a skit, but I don't have any information for you on that yet. But what I do have is the fact that Mr. Red went out on a stroll around town and he ran into a young man named Marcelo Gonzalez. Now, I reached out to Mr. Red after I saw his post and I asked him if I could speak about this, and he said, of course. So, Marcelo Gonzalez is, I believe he's in elementary, most likely in elementary. And what he said to Mr. Red was that he's part of a foundation, and it's part of, it deals with the American Heart Association. Now, brief story, if you don't know anything about me, know this. My father passed away with 27 years with a heart transplant. He was projected to live 5 years back in 1986, if I'm not mistaken. They told him he was going to live 5 years up to 91. In 93, I was born. My father went on to live 27 long, beautiful years with a heart transplant. So the minute I heard that this had to deal with something for the heart and heart association, of course, I wanted to jump in and give my 2 cents. So pretty much what they're teaching these kids, Marcelo, from what I read, does not have any heart conditions, but he is reaching out to help the kids who are less fortunate. And what they're doing is that they're teaching these kids about the importance of your heart. They're teaching them how to keep your heart healthy and just being aware of how your heart functions, which, I mean, being one of the most vital organs in your body. I think kids at a young age need to understand how that is. So I think it's really cool that Marcelo is doing this and trying to reach out to other kids. He says they're showing him how to be active and self-aware of his heart in order to keep it healthy. He has a goal right now of raising $10,000. I will be donating. I'm going to put the link into the description. Mr. Red has it on his page on Instagram. I'm going to throw that into this description as well, so you can just go out there, give your donation. Like I said, the goal is $10,000. I believe they're at 265 or 263 last I checked earlier today. Again, at such a young age, really opening these kids' minds to the importance of health and more important, your heart, and being able to give back to those kids who are less fortunate. And these donations are going towards treatments for medicine for kids and studies to help these kids who are less fortunate with the heart. I'm scared shitless about something going wrong with my heart. I've seen what happens with it. So guys, even if it's $1, man, just pay it forward, and just spread the word. And best of luck to Marcelo Gonzalez. If I can be getting any updates, I'll definitely be giving English this time. If I get any updates, I'll definitely be keeping you guys in the loop. Boom, got him. So again, it's part of the American Heart Association. Pay it forward. Every little bit helps. And now, you know what tomorrow, no, not tomorrow, the day after tomorrow is Cinco de Mayo, which, by the way, I got some fun facts that probably not a lot of people knew about Cinco de Mayo. But Friday is Cinco de Mayo, is Cinco de Drinko, and y'all got to go out and get some drinks. Like always, you got to be responsible with the way you're drinking, all right? Get yourself some friends, split yourself an Uber, get your ass to the spot, drink, and then take your Uber back. Please be safe, drink responsibly. You're going to have some fun with it. I love how I went from like, hey, we got to take care of our heart, it's a vital organ, to, yo, oh, God.
Oh, God. Oh, God.
You see, that's what happens when I'm Cuban. I just talk with my hands. You never know what's going to happen. Come on, man. There you go. So, like I'm saying, we went from let's take care of our heart to let's just completely obliterate our liver. It's the Cuban in me, our liver for the night. So, like I'm saying, bar crawl. If you've never checked out any of the bar crawls that I've promoted for Out Where Locals Go, check it out. It's on my Instagram. I believe I have some videos on Facebook as well. It's $20. It's going down in Wynwood, the Art District. Great time, great scenery. I believe the check-in is from 6 to 9 p.m. It could change to 11 p.m. closer to the date. Tickets will run out. I checked today. Tickets are still available, online only. They might sell some at the door, but guess what? My ass got left out last time. I had no tickets at the door, no tickets online. I was left out. So I was left out of my own bar crawl that I help promote. So guess what? They have no chill for nobody. So get your tickets in time. I actually got 3 tickets to give away. All right? If you're interested, send me a message. I'll see how I can give them to you. figure it out. So I got 3 tickets to give away. If not, you don't get them in time, buy your tickets. I will put the link as well into this description. And I'm going to put it on the comments, so all of those who commented or watched or liked, you will get the notification on where to get that. So it's $20 right now. It's $20. You're getting 5 free drinks with drink specials all night. All our bars are within walking distance of one another. To get there, I will always encourage you to take an Uber so you don't have to drive back messed up, banged up, whatever you want to call it. But we're just trying to have a good time, you know what I mean? Like that's all we're trying to do. We're trying to vibe out, you know, have a good time. Everybody's Mexican on Cinco de Mayo. I think the YouTube camera gets it better, but I don't know about Facebook Live. I actually got the Mexican sombrero right here you guys always see hanging. You know, trying to keep it spirited in here. Shout out to all, my Mexicans, Brian, Espadas, Brian, Martinez, Mario. And those are like the 3 that I can think off the top of my head. Speaking of Mexicans, I love this segue. Speaking of Mexicans, somebody told me, hey, why haven't you talked about Donald Trump yet? I was like, hey, that's a good question. So, he didn't build the wall yet, but we're going to talk about Donald Trump's first 100 days in office. Now, these are just some highlighted parts of, obviously, bullet timeline. That's all it is. We're not going to go too much into depth, but kind of to put you in the loop. But before I do this, the White House, it's whitehouse.gov, has this on their front page about Donald Trump's first 100 days. It says, Donald Trump's first 100 days have been successful in keeping Americans safe and secure and holding the government accountable. At a historic pace, this president has enacted more legislation and signed more executive orders than any other president in over a half a century. I'll leave that up to you, whether you want to say that's a good thing or a bad thing, what he signed, you figure that out. With a focus on rebuilding the military, ending illegal immigration, and restoring confidence in our economy, the president is keeping his promises to the American people. I'm different about this. Kind of just going to give people what they asked for. A synopsis of his first 100 days. So January 24th or January 21st, more than 1 million Americans partake in the Women's March across the country. And then the White House press says that Trump had a larger attending than Obama's inauguration. So they said more people were at his inauguration than Obama's. I don't know the statistics, but just by the pictures, I think that's false. Don't quote me on this though. January 24th, Trump signs his first executive order in order to advance the approval of Keystone and Dakota Access oil pipelines. Now, if you don't remember the controversy of this, we had something similar happen. Well, not something similar, but we had the pipelines burst in the Gulf of Mexico during Obama's administration. Didn't end so well. Thankfully, they covered that up and we moved forward from it. But now I think it's a little foolish to move forward with this again, considering the fact that there's other controversial subjects that we'll get into that play a factor into this. Michael Flynn, the National Security Advisor, resigns after reports surfaced that he misled administration officials about the communications with the Russian ambassador to the U.S. and was potentially vulnerable for blackmail by the Russians. That's still up in the air. This whole Russian scandal with Donald Trump, and if they influenced and helped him get elected, and if he has any ties with Russia, that's still working out there. March 4th. Of course, it wouldn't be Donald Trump if we're not talking about tweeting, right? You know, we have the most tweeting president of all freaking time. In a series of tweets, Trump allegedly said that Obama wiretapped his phones in the Trump Towers. There's no evidence of that, of course. There's no evidence that comes out of that. That's still up in the air. So yeah, that happens. And then now, March 6th, the House of Republicans unveiled their bill to repeal and replace Obamacare, which they're still trying to do right now. He's trying to shut down. He says if he can't get things done his way, he wants a complete government shutdown. I actually read that yesterday. So I don't know how I feel about that. But like I said, I'm just reading this through for y'all. April 6th, Trump orders military strike on Syrian airbase in response to a chemical weapons attack that killed dozens of civilians. We'll leave it at that with his timeline. I'm not going to comment too much about it. What I am going to comment on is this lovely quote that Donald Trump, guys, I know we like to think that the government, Big Brother, don't care about what we say or what we do, and we don't want to vote because we don't take those votes into account. I feel you 110%. But please leave that 1% inside of you that says, you know what, maybe they do count my vote. And you don't just sit on your ass at home when you can be out voting, okay? Please do not sit on your ass at home. Please exercise your rights. Please go vote. As much as people want to say, like, well, this was rigged. No, I think the people that needed to vote went out to vote, and the people that should have voted didn't vote. So get your ass up, because what's coming up next, what I'm about to say next, it comes from your President of the United States, ladies and gentlemen. I want you to understand that this came from the mouth of the President of the United States, okay? Donald Trump said, I loved my previous life. I had so many things going. This is more work than my previous life. I thought it'd be easier. This motherfucker said he thought it'd be easier being the President of the United States than being a businessman. You're the president of the most powerful nation in the world. Y'all feel me why I say y'all gotta go vote? Y'all feel me why I say, like, it's important that even though you like to think your vote doesn't get counted for, just go out there and play your part. Don't sit back and just fan and say, well, they're not gonna count my vote. Well, yeah, if you don't vote at all, yeah, of course. Because then you got, you know, I don't want to get too into it, but you got people that are voting and putting men like this in power. As much as you want to say is it's rigged, open your eyes, go vote, go do this, because then you have the President of the United States saying silly, childish things like, this is more work than in my previous life. I thought it'd be easier. Come on, man. And not to mention that this guy's a damn fool. He's a fool when it comes to climate change and what he thinks climate change is going, and that it's all make-believe and this is bull and this is just shit the media is selling. I'm not the only one that's tired of it. I got a friend of mine who is more tired of what he's saying about the climate change and just the general population being A, misinformed, B, ignorant, or 3, just not caring, or C, whatever. I went from letters to numbers. My good friend Gerard Clark is started his website called theledgemedia.com. Pretty much, this guy is a climate change activist. Right, so I'm gonna read to you guys. He's a really good friend of mine. We've worked on a couple of projects together. We've always exchanged ideas, and now I saw that he was doing something, working on a little documentary for climate change, and he actually filmed this up in DC. So I'm gonna read you guys his introduction that he sent to me. He says, "I'm a client of client." All right, I'm upset. That's what it is. I'm upset right now with everything. So please. He says, I'm a climate activist, a relatively new one, but I'm proud to be connected in the organization, the Climate Reality Project, and amongst activists who are well-versed in climate science. He says, it's important to note that I'm not a scientist myself, but you don't have to be a scientist to be science literate. You get what I'm saying? You don't got to be the rocket scientist. You just got to understand how science works, all right? You know, shit we've been doing since we were kids. He says, my function is to spread the word in a compelling way. So I use my medium, I love filmmaking, to attempt to get people on board with hope and act on action towards climate change. He recently started a website called theledgemedia.com to take this idea around some of the greatest challenges society faces accessible using media platforms like podcasts and documentaries. This podcast, his stuff, his documentaries, social media. And he says he's trying to get to a non-science background set of individuals. Climate change is the first of many issues we plan to address. There we go. So on his website, he went ahead and he has a great... Now, there's one thing you can take from Gerard. It's his verbiage. His vocabulary is insane. He won't just say, I'm thirsty, I drank water, right? Like, hey, I'm thirsty. Let me get some water. Gerard will say things like, I realized my throat was parched near my esophagus, and the only way to quench my thirst was through a 12-ounce bottle of hydrogen to oxygen. Literally, like, Gerard will not just say something. He will fucking say it the most elegantly, like, poetic literature way you can say it. So this guy's got a way with words. Now he says, I imagine what it would take to spark a revolution in the way individuals consume and how that revolution could dramatically reshape the future of society. I couldn't wait to get to DC and share the vision and get insight from other activists about how to ignite that revolution of the mind. Driving electric, eating less meat, saving on water and energy, along with the spirit of Dr. Martin Luther King's concept of economic withdrawal applied to the issue of climate change. So this is all Gerard's work right here. He's very much into showing you the proper thing. He's more, well, he is beyond informed than the average Joe Schmo about climate change. If you have any questions, I'm definitely going to be putting his Instagram, his Twitter, well, not his Twitter, his Instagram and Facebook stuff on the description. It's going to be showing up here on the YouTube videos. And he said this is how he left DC. He says, I leave DC wondering what is going to happen, what has to happen to get people to understand the gravity of the issue and the way it impacts them, the way it impacts our society, our culture, our world, nature, the world we live in, Earth. He says, what more do we need? You know, after Hurricane Sandy, after the Zika, after coral bleaching and forest fires and record temperatures, what must happen for people to wake up? Look, if you're ignorant to the subject, without insulting, if you're ignorant because you have lack of resources, lack of information, lack of facts, that's what we're here for. He's definitely more informed than I am, but I'm just trying to push the information out there as well. That's what we're here for, to inform you. Now, if you don't want to face the facts and don't want to face science and choose to be ignorant after reviewing facts, then that's on you and you're not helping the cause. If you have any sort of questions, there is a great website that kind of statistically shows you and photographs of the actual climate change that's taking place in our world over the years and what's happening right now. I think we need to be very awake. Y'all cats love to say stay woke. Stay woke of nature. Stay woke of Earth. This is where you live, you know? Right now what's happening is we got so much carbon dioxide in our or carbon emission in our planet that what it's doing essentially, it's creating a shield over Earth. Now heat is not escaping, so what's happening is that all this heat that we got trapped right here because of the carbon, we're not letting it escape and it's only becoming hotter. We're in an oven right now. Ice caps are melting, microorganisms are being depleted because of the acidity in the ocean. Inform yourself, learn, read, don't be ignorant by choice. Be ignorant because you just didn't know and you didn't read. But once you read, stay awake. Read more, spread the word more. I want to thank Gerard for going out of his way to send me an email and want to partake in this segment of the show. Hopefully down the line when we do interviews, you guys can meet Gerard through the interview and everything. But I just want to thank you, Gerard, for continuing to put information out there for us who are less or ignorant to the matter. By choice, by whatever it is you want to be, and shedding some light to what really matters. He did take place, or he was participating in the People's Climate March. He went up to DC, and that's when all this started unraveling for him. It's been a very rapid, how would you say this, growth for him in this society and what he's doing in the organizations. He's also coming down to Miami Zoo to speak within the next couple of weeks, he told me. If I find out more information about specific dates, I'll definitely keep you guys in tune. But he's not the only one who's talking about this, right? If you're watching Netflix, then you know Bill Nye the Science Guy just got his new Netflix series called Bill Nye Saves the World. And very first episode, he's talking about climate change. And the cool thing is that in this entire show follows a very cool concept. So it's Bill Nye breaking science down in a dummy fashion. For the smallest of people, for the youngest of minds, he breaks science down in a very... Yo, I don't know what's up with me today, man. This is coffee. I spent the last weekend in Texas, and I think my cousins influenced me, always making me watch my words because they were just making fun of me. Anyways, like I was saying, the show starts off in a very easy way to understand science, and then later on there is a researcher that goes out and does some research on the topic being discussed. They are brought back into studio. Bill Nye interviews them, talks to them about their findings, and then he moves on to a panel of experts talking about the subject matter. Now the great thing is that there's 3 experts, and not all 3 of them are on the same page. There may be 2 who agree, there may be 1 that agrees, there may be none that agree, and that's cool because the controversy kicks in. So you start getting these one person who defends one position, one person who defends another position, and one person who's kind of in the middle or pushes towards the other one. And then Bill Nye will go ahead and throw some questions to just kind of stir the pot and see how people start reacting. So it's a really, really cool show. On top of that, I love science. So if you like science, I highly encourage you to watch it. But on top of that, he also brings like guest stars. I know he had Zach Braff on there. He had, Hunter Pence from San Francisco Giants was on the show. So he has guest stars and stuff. I definitely tell you to check that out, and it's science driven. And it's damn near as good as Bill Nye the Science Guy. Cheesy as hell though. Very, very cheesy show. But let's see, what else we got? Cinco de Mayo. Cinco de Drinko. I already told you about the bar crawl. Now I'm going to tell you some facts about Cinco de Mayo. So this is a fact. According to Daily Meal, the United States consumes twice as much tequila as Mexico on Cinco de Mayo. We beat Mexicans on tequila. If that does not show you that America is so like riding everybody's wave, they trying to be in with everybody. Twice the amount of tequila than Mexico. That's a lot of damn tequila. That's a whole lot of tequila. Roosevelt helped popularize Cinco de Mayo in the United States. Cinco de Mayo became a popular holiday in the United States after President Franklin Roosevelt enacted the Good Neighbor policy in 1933 to improve relations with Latin American countries. Hey, FDR was like, they were going to have a great time. We're going to have a great time. I think we'd all have a great time. I'm going to say it's safe to say that FDR liked tequila and alcohol and the whole 9. But hey, kudos to the Good Neighbor policy. We need to bring that back. We need to start bringing things from other countries so we're just all good neighbors, right? We want the world to just be one great friendly neighborhood. That's where we're trying to get to. And if tequila's the start, then by all means, hey, cheers to you. Know what I'm saying? I'm so funny, I make myself laugh sometimes. What could I say? I'm friggin' hilarious. And this is the most common misconception, is that Cinco de Mayo is not Mexico's Independence Day. Some of y'all talk about, this is the day Mexico got liberated. Hey, Holmes, this one's for you. Hey, tequila shot. We're free, man. False. They were not free. Here's what happened. They actually won the battle. You ever heard that saying, you may have won the battle, but you didn't win the war? That's exactly what happened on Cinco de Mayo. So Mexico won the Battle of Puebla on May 5th, 1862, during the French-Mexican War. Ultimately, the French won the war, and they still owned Mexico for the next 5 years, or the territories for the next 5 years. And then September 16th, 1867, they got their independence. So September 16th is the Independence Day of Mexico. Cinco de Mayo is just the day we used to drink, and it's the day they won the fight at Puebla. So if you didn't know, now you know. And we're getting right up to that 30-minute mark. I'm going to be closing out the show pretty soon. I always like to leave you guys with fun facts or something, so you learn that about Cinco de Mayo. So when y'all go out drinking, hey, you know what's crazy? Today's not even Mexico's Independence Day. Mexico was independent September 16th, 1867. It was crazy, right? I don't know. So consume your tequila and know your facts. And I'm always going to leave you, I try to always leave you with a quote. Last week it was Big Sean. Shout out Sean Don. This week it's Frank Sinatra. And I love Frank Sinatra just for who he is, for his music, for what he stood for, the Rat Pack, the whole nine. So we've been talking alcohol and Cinco de Mayo and tequila. Might as well end with a alcohol quote. So he says, Frank Sinatra says, alcohol may be the man's worst enemy. But the Bible does say, love your enemy. That Frank Sinatra had a way with words. That smooth son of a bitch. God dang it, he nailed it on the head. Guys, if you enjoyed this episode, I want to thank you guys. I'm going to give you a rundown of what we talked about. The Miami Insider, you can meet him. J. David R.R. His poetry will be going live tomorrow at the Open Stage Club in Coral Gables. Check him out. Check out his website, themiamiinsider.com. Big shout out to Mr. Red for putting out Marcelo Gonzalez's goal out there to try to reach $10,000 in his... Oh, I didn't even say the name of the thing. I'm so sorry. It's called Jump Frick on a Stick. I didn't get the exact name. I'm going to have to write that down for you. I'm going to put it down here on the YouTube stuff. So you're going to have to go onto the YouTube channel to watch this episode and figure it out. We got that bar crawl coming up. Talked about Trump's first 100 days. Shout out to Gerard. Thank you for the insight. Thank you for keeping us informed, for not making us look ignorant, or at least amount of possible, because it's hard for me not to look ignorant. Bill Nye the science guy. Bill Nye Saves the World. Check it out on Netflix, the new Netflix series. Got some Cinco de Mayo facts and a quote from Frank Sinatra where it says alcohol is man's worst enemy, but the Bible says love your enemy. Again, episode 13 will air next week. If you guys are tuning in and you guys have tuned in before, I want you, please, don't just hit like, don't just share, just write a topic that I spoke about in either of the previous 12 episodes that you want to hear more about. If there's a topic that you feel like I didn't hit enough information on it, tell me. If you want to hear more information, tell me. If there's a topic I haven't hit, tell me. But I really want you guys to go back and think of the other subjects that I've talked about in the past previous episodes and pick a subject that's the best you find. Please, just write it down. It can be one word. You can, if you don't want to write it on the comments, send it to me in a message, text me, send it to Snapchat, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, whatever it is. It's always a pleasure being here for y'all and you guys being here for me. I can't thank you enough. It's your favorite time of the day, ladies and gentlemen. You know what it is. Say it with me from the bottom. It's Colada Time. Hey.